Assalamu alaikum, my dear brothers and sisters. I pray that Allah fills your heart with peace, your home with blessings, and your life with His mercy. Before we begin, I want to ask you something. Have you ever wondered why Allah repeats the same question again and again in Surah Ar-Rahman? Not once, not twice, but 31 times. If Allah chose to repeat these words so many times, then there must be something extraordinary hidden within them. What if this question is not just for humanity in general? What if it is for you, right now, in this very moment? Stay with me until the end, because one insight may completely change the way you hear this ayah forever. And if you love deep Quran reflections that bring you closer to Allah, subscribe and join our growing community seeking His guidance together. Now let's reflect on the question that echoes throughout Surah Ar-Rahman. Which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? Take a moment and think about it. This is not just a verse that we recite. It is not just a line that passes through our ears and disappears. It is a question that follows us wherever we go. When you wake up in the morning and open your eyes after a night of sleep, this question is there. When you sit with your family and share a meal, this question is there. When you take a breath without pain, walk without assistance, see the sky above you, hear the voices of those you love, this question is there. But what is truly remarkable is that the question does not disappear during difficult times. When your plans fail, when your heart is broken, when your marriage is delayed, when money becomes tight, when a door you desperately wanted opened remains closed. Even then, Allah asks, which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? Why? Because human beings often recognize blessings only when they appear in the form they desire. We thank Allah when life feels easy. We feel grateful when things go according to our plans. But Surah Ar-Rahman invites us to see more deeply. Sometimes the blessing is obvious. Sometimes the blessing is hidden. Sometimes Allah protects you by withholding something. Sometimes He guides you through a disappointment. Sometimes the very thing you call a setback today becomes the reason you thank Him tomorrow. And this is where the question becomes deeply personal. Perhaps as you listen to this video, you are carrying a burden no one else knows about, a fear, a regret, a prayer that still seems unanswered. Yet Allah's question remains unchanged. Not as a condemnation, but as an invitation to look beyond what is missing and recognize what is still present. Because the more carefully you look at your life, the more you begin to realize that Allah's favors surround you from every direction, even in ways you may never have noticed before. At this point, a question naturally arises. Why would Allah repeat the same verse again and again? If every word of the Quran is perfect, why not mention this question only once and move on? The answer begins with understanding something about the human heart. Human beings forget. We forget quickly. We forget the blessings we prayed for. We forget the mercy that carried us through difficult times. We forget the lessons we promised never to ignore. And perhaps most importantly, we forget Allah's favors when life becomes busy. Think about it. How many things do you enjoy today that you once begged Allah for? There was a time when you prayed for relief from a problem. Allah answered. There was a time when you wished for an opportunity. Allah opened a door. There was a time when you feared the future. Allah protected you. Yet after some time passes, those blessings begin to feel ordinary. What once felt like a miracle becomes normal. What once filled us with gratitude becomes something we barely notice. This is the nature of the human being. And because Allah knows His creation better than anyone, He speaks to us in a way that awakens us. Repetition in the Quran is not unnecessary repetition. It is purposeful repetition. When a loving parent sees a child walking toward danger, they do not warn them only once. They repeat the warning because they care. When a teacher prepares students for an important exam, they repeat the most important lessons again and again. Not because the lesson is weak, but because the lesson is important. Likewise, when Allah repeats a message in the Quran, it is not because the message lacks power. It is because the message carries immense importance. In Surah Ar-Rahman, something extraordinary happens. Allah mentions signs of His mercy. He speaks about creation. He speaks about the heavens. He speaks about the earth. He speaks about the sun and the moon. He speaks about the oceans. He speaks about paradise. He even reminds humanity of realities that many people overlook every day. And after describing these blessings, the same question returns. Which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? Then the question appears again, and again, and again. Almost as if Allah is giving us time to pause after every blessing and reflect. It is as though the surah is saying, did you notice this blessing? Did you recognize this mercy? Did you appreciate this gift? And if not, then listen once more. Because every repetition is another opportunity to awaken, another opportunity to remember, another opportunity to see what was always in front of us. The repeated verse is not interrupting the message of Surah Ar-Rahman. It is the heartbeat of the surah. It keeps bringing us back to the central truth that everything we possess, everything we enjoy, and everything that protects us ultimately comes from Allah. And perhaps that is why the question is repeated so many times. Because the human heart does not wake up after hearing the truth once. Sometimes it needs to hear the same reminder again and again until the heart finally says, yes, my Lord, I see your favors, I recognize your mercy, and I cannot deny your blessings. Now we come to a reflection that takes us deeper, far beyond the surface meaning of the verse, and into the inner world of the human soul. Among the great spiritual thinkers of Islam, Ibn Arabi reflected deeply on the relationship between the human heart and the signs of Allah. While people often search for Allah's blessings in wealth, success, status, or comfort, Ibn Arabi drew attention to something far greater. He suggested that the greatest blessing is not merely what Allah gives us. The greatest blessing is the ability to recognize the one who gives. Think about that for a moment. Many people receive blessings. Not everyone truly sees them. Many people witness miracles every day. Not everyone recognizes them. The sun rises, the heart beats, the lungs breathe. The earth continues its journey through space with perfect balance. Life itself unfolds before our eyes. Yet most of us pass through these realities without reflection. According to Ibn Arabi's spiritual perspective, the world is filled with signs pointing toward Allah. Every created thing carries a message. Every blessing is a doorway. Every moment contains an invitation. But the problem is not that the signs are absent. The problem is that our hearts become distracted. We become so focused on the gifts that we forget the giver. We become so occupied with the world that we overlook the one who created it. And this is where the repeated question of Surah Ar-Rahman takes on a deeper meaning. Which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? What if the question is not only asking whether we acknowledge specific blessings? What if it is also asking whether we recognize the divine presence behind those blessings? Every time the verse returns, it is as though another curtain is being lifted from the heart. Another layer of forgetfulness is being removed. Another opportunity is being offered to see reality more clearly. Ibn Arabi often emphasized that spiritual blindness is not the absence of sight. It is seeing creation while forgetting the Creator. A person may admire the beauty of a flower, but never think about the one who designed it. A person may enjoy health without thanking the one who preserves it. A person may love the blessings of life while remaining unaware of their true source. In this sense, denying Allah's favors is not always done with words. Sometimes it happens through neglect, sometimes through heedlessness, sometimes through living as if blessings appeared on their own. This is why the repetition in Surah Ar-Rahman feels so powerful. It does not allow the heart to drift too far. Again and again, Allah brings us back. Again and again, the question returns. Again and again, the soul is invited to wake up. And perhaps the deepest spiritual insight here is this: the repeated verse is not only a question, it is a mercy. A mercy because Allah keeps calling us back before we lose ourselves completely in the distractions of this world. A mercy because He continues reminding us even when we forget. A mercy because He keeps opening the door of awareness. So when you hear the verse repeated once more, do not imagine it as a distant question directed at someone else. Imagine it reaching directly into your heart. Imagine Allah reminding you of every blessing you noticed, and every blessing you overlooked, every prayer He answered, every danger He protected you from, every moment of guidance, every breath, every heartbeat, every opportunity to return to Him. Then ask yourself honestly, if Allah has surrounded me with so many visible and hidden favors, how can I fail to recognize His mercy? Perhaps that is why the verse is repeated again and again, not because Allah needs to repeat it, but because we need to hear it. Up to this point, we have spoken about the blessings that are easy to recognize, the blessings that make us smile, the blessings that arrive wrapped in joy, the blessings we thank Allah for immediately. But now we come to a type of blessing that many people spend years trying to understand. A blessing that often arrives wearing the disguise of disappointment. A blessing that most people miss completely. And perhaps this hidden blessing is one of the reasons Allah repeatedly asks, "Which of the favors of your Lord will you deny?" Because not every favor feels like a favor in the moment. Think about your own life. Have you ever wanted something so badly that you believed your happiness depended on it? A certain relationship, a certain job, a certain opportunity, a certain dream. You prayed for it. You hoped for it. You imagined your future with it. But then it never happened. The door closed. The opportunity disappeared. The person walked away. The answer you wanted never came. And in that moment, it felt like a loss. Perhaps even a punishment. Perhaps even a sign that Allah had forgotten you. But years later, when you looked back, you realized something astonishing. Had Allah given you exactly what you wanted, it might have led you toward pain instead of peace. What felt like rejection was actually protection. What felt like delay was actually preparation. What felt like loss was actually mercy. This is one of the most difficult truths for the human heart to accept. We often judge events by how they feel in the present moment. Allah sees their final outcome. We see one page. Allah sees the entire story. We see today's disappointment. Allah sees tomorrow's wisdom. We see a closed door. Allah sees the danger behind it. And this is why some of the greatest blessings in your life may be blessings you never recognized at all. The accident that never happened. The wrong relationship that never became permanent. The business deal that failed. The opportunity that disappeared. The journey that was canceled. The plan that fell apart. You may call these losses, but only Allah knows how many unseen harms He removed from your path through them. Imagine standing before Allah one day and discovering that some of your greatest blessings were things you spent years complaining about. Imagine learning that the delay you hated protected your faith, that the heartbreak you cried over brought you closer to Allah, that the unanswered prayer taught you patience, that the closed door guided you toward a better destination. Suddenly everything looks different. And this is where Surah Ar-Rahman becomes deeply personal. Because the repeated question is not only about obvious blessings, it is also about hidden blessings. The blessings hidden inside waiting. The blessings hidden inside struggle. The blessings hidden inside uncertainty. The blessings hidden inside tests. Many people thank Allah when they receive what they want. Few people thank Allah when they do not. Yet sometimes Allah's mercy is most active in the things He keeps away from us. Perhaps there is someone watching right now who feels frustrated because life is not unfolding according to their plan. Maybe you are waiting for marriage, waiting for financial relief, waiting for success, waiting for answers, waiting for a door to open. If that is you, remember this. A delayed blessing is not a denied blessing, and a closed door is not proof that Allah has abandoned you. Sometimes Allah is protecting something precious within you. Sometimes He is preparing something better than what you asked for. Sometimes He is teaching your heart to trust Him before giving you what you desire. And perhaps, years from now, you will look back at this difficult season and realize that what felt like a burden was actually one of the greatest favors your Lord ever gave you. And when that day comes, the question of Surah Ar-Rahman will echo with a meaning you never understood before. Which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? As we come to the end of this reflection, I want you to do something that most people rarely do. For the next few moments, forget about everyone else. Forget about the world. Forget about social media, distractions, worries, and expectations. Just think about your own life. Think about where you were 5 years ago. Think about the battles Allah carried you through. The nights when you thought you would never find peace again. The problems that kept you awake. The fears that filled your heart. Yet somehow you are still here. Still breathing. Still hoping. Still receiving blessings from Allah every single day. Now ask yourself honestly, how many favors of Allah have I noticed? And how many have I completely overlooked? How many times did Allah protect me from something I never even saw? How many times did He answer a prayer in a way I did not understand? How many times did His mercy surround me while I was too distracted to recognize it? This is why the repeated question of Surah Ar-Rahman is so powerful. Because it does not merely inform us, it transforms us. It pulls us out of heedlessness. It awakens us from spiritual sleep. It reminds us that Allah's blessings are not rare events. They are the very atmosphere in which we live. At this very moment, your heart is beating without your permission. Your lungs are drawing breath without your effort. Your eyes can see, your ears can hear, and above all, Allah has given you another day to return to Him, another day to seek forgiveness, another day to make dua, another day to strengthen your relationship with your Creator. So before this video ends, I want to give you a personal challenge. Right after watching this, pause for a moment. Take a piece of paper, open your notes app, or simply sit quietly. Then write down 3 blessings you rarely thank Allah for. Not the obvious ones, the hidden ones. The blessings that have quietly supported your life for years. And when you finish, say from the depths of your heart, Alhamdulillah. Not because life is perfect, not because every prayer has been answered, but because Allah's mercy has never stopped flowing toward you. And the next time you hear the verse, which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? Don't hear it as a question directed at humanity in general. Hear it as a question directed to you, a loving reminder from your Lord, a reminder that even when you could not see His wisdom, His blessings were still surrounding you. If this reflection touched your heart, write Alhamdulillah in the comments below. It is a simple word, but it carries the weight of gratitude, faith, and trust in Allah. And if you want more deep Quran reflections and spiritual reminders that bring you closer to Allah, make sure to subscribe and join us on this journey. Until next time, may Allah fill your heart with gratitude, your life with barakah, and your soul with closeness to Him. This ending is designed to increase watch time, comments, subscriptions, and emotional connection by turning the lesson into a personal reflection and action step.